Let's see. Okay. Hello. Here we go. We are here. Marriage tips. I have done this because I don't want to see all that metric business. Okay. We are live. We're going to give it a few minutes and hopefully, my dogs, people will find me here. All right. Thank you for coming in with me at 12:30. I'm a little late, but we're here, right? Let's see. Okay. That makes me better. Okay. I hope everybody's doing okay. I'm not gonna stall too long. Make sure you have your pen and your paper. This is Marriage Tips. I am Tiffany Hodge. For those that don't know me, founder of Tiffany Empowers, and this is Truth Be Told, session 102, Marriage Tips. Again, make sure you have your paper and your pen. If you hear any noise in the back, it is my children and my dogs and my husband. Everybody's at home. So I hope your Sunday is going pretty well. I decided to do something a little different and not do both Instagram and what's the other one? Oh, and Facebook. I'm going to do one at a time because so I could just focus my attention on one screen. I think that back and forth, that up and down thing was making me nervous. Okay. If you have any questions or any comments, you can leave those here. I can see them, or you can message me, and I'll be able to answer any questions that you have. Um, yeah. Also, I'm gonna give it a few minutes. And if you hear the garage, that's that's real. All this is real. All this is real. My house is busy, 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 busy. And we'll see. Let's see here. And I think I did something a little differently because I don't know. I usually do it on my regular page, but I've decided to start posting them on my Tiffany Empowers page, so you can all get some engagement from me on this page, right? Not so much the other page. So, all right, I'm going to get started because I don't like to belabor long. If you catch this live or you catch this being record after I've recorded it, that's amazing. I'm glad that you have decided to take some time to allow me into your home and into your space to give you a little bit of teaching. This is not a biblical teaching. This is just um, from not only my own personal experience in marriage, but also from what I've learned just through my studies about it. So I wanted to come and give you some tips for those of us that are married and wanting to make sure that we are effective in our marriage, if that makes sense. If you're looking for tips and you are not married, um, you can review my video from 2 weeks ago about couples and get some tips on that. But this is geared towards marriage, and I'm going to define that in a few minutes um, as we get going. So, couple more announcements. If you are interested in joining Tiffany's Table, it is a 4 week class starting April 5th through the 26th. If you click the link in the bio, it will take you there. You'll schedule for April 5th. but I will know that it is for the entire month. Make sure you take advantage of that. It is for women, all ages. We start April 5th through April 26th, 4 weeks, Mondays. Um, and I'm super excited. I have 8 spots left. It will be a closed group. That means once these 10 spots have been filled, there will be no more entry into the April class. Okay. So make sure if you want to take advantage of that, you do that. Number two, my this is not therapy. What we're doing today, we're just going over some tips that might be helpful to you. And if you want to give out some of your tips that you may have, please feel free to put them down because my list is not exhaustive, but it is here just to start, create a conversation, and just make sure that we're elevating our marriages every day. Marriage is work. It is not something that we're like, oh, we're married, yay, and we just don't have to do anything. So I wanted to give out some gratitude ideas. We're going to give out those, and we're also going to give out some fair fighting tips because we know that in marriage the arguments can get a little heated, right? So that's my two announcements. Again, thank you for joining. If you watch this now or later, I really do appreciate it. Make sure that you're sharing. Make sure that you're following me on all social media platforms, and if you have any questions, again, you can put it here in the comment box below, or you can direct message me, right? All right, let's talk about marriage. My own personals, I've been married 7 years, going on 8 years now, and that might not be long to a lot of people, but I've learned a lot within myself being married for 8 years this year. And I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned about my spouse, and I've learned a lot about what it means to really be married. So I actually take the time and I look up the definitions for you. This is not, again, this is not a Bible study. I'm sure people have more exhaustive lists of what God said marriage is, and I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to speak it from that lane. I'm speaking it from a lane of just my professionalism. So if you have any biblical references and things of that nature, that's awesome. But this is not the platform that we'll be discussing those things. Okay. It is legal. It's a legal or formal arrangement recognized of two people partnership that have come together to decide that they are going to have rights and obligations to themselves, to each other, to their children, to their families, to their in-laws, and things of that nature. So it is not just about two people, it is about a community. I would say you have a family community, if you will, if that makes sense. Also, what I liked about it, the definition, according to Webster, is that it ties you legally. It's a legal contract, right? Emotionally, legally, and economically. So I am obligated by law, by emotion, and by economics to service, be a part, uh, uh, um, do some input into this relationship. So that is what marriage, that's the definition we're gonna work with. Okay. Again, this is not an exhaustive list. This is just generic. This is not therapy. This is just generic things. If you want personal help, personal tips, you can always message me and I'll be more than happy to get those resources to you. What I've learned personally through marriage is gratitude. It is one thing to tell people you appreciate them and you want to honor them and you respect them, but how do we actually do that? How do we actually show gratitude? And personally, I've had to learn how to do that, and I'm a transparent type of person. So it's easier said than done. And remind you, we've been growing up before marriage independently. We grew into this world by ourselves. Even as twins, if you're a twin, you have some independent things about you. But as you get married, you actually start to shift that, and you become one. It's a unifying thing. It's a thing that people will see. You start to kind of morph, into this one person as a unit, right? And so it's a beautiful thing to see. It can be a hard thing to process there because we might not be taught how to do that. So, how do we actually start to show appreciation and gratitude? And so, here's where I'm going to ask you to grab your pencil and your paper and make sure that you're ready to write, because these are some things that you can do to show gratitude to your spouse, to your partner, making sure that you are also showing those things to yourself. Make sure that you are able to identify these things within yourself so that you can give these things to your spouse and to your partner. I'm sure my husband will not disagree when I with me, because I used to say all the time to him, I can't give you something that I don't have, right? So I had to learn how to actually give these things to myself so that I may give them to him, right? And a lot of times he may have tried to give me the things that he needs in order for me to give them back to him, but that's not how that works. I had to independently give it to myself some kind of way in order to give it to him, right? But I had to recognize within myself that I did not have that. And so what I had to do, and this is just me just being transparent with you, I had to dig deep within myself and figure out, why am I not able to show gratitude? Am I even showing gratitude within myself? And then once I learned how to do that and appreciate who I am and the differences about myself, then I'm able to understand and appreciate the differences about him. And then we are able to do that exchange. Marriage is an even exchange, if you will. So, gratitude, number one, what you can do is you can show interest in their life. Things that might not be basically your interest might be of interest to your spouse. Show them that you're interested in it. You don't have to go and do like, become it, morph into it, but you can show some type of interest in what they're doing. Um, again, me just being who I am, I'm a crafter. My husband is always trying to show interest in what I'm doing in my crafting life. And I'm always like, I don't need you to do it, but it's just, I think that's how you show that you appreciate someone and that you want to be invested in who they are. So showing interest in their life. Number two, give compliments. Compliments may seem very light, but they really do mean a lot on both ends. Hey, you look good in that dress today, or that cologne really smells good on you. The compliments go a long way. That means you're being attentive to your spouse. So making sure that man, dinner was really good. It may sound really cheesy, but it really does go a long way. Just giving compliments. Surprise them. Now, if your spouse likes surprises, if they don't like surprises, then you might not want to try that one. But surprise them with something. And it doesn't have to be something monetary. It could be a poem. It could be a little dance that you may do or something like that. It could be cleaning out the car or whatever it is. Surprise your spouse is another way that you can show gratitude to your spouse. Help them relax, whatever that may be. And sometimes relaxation is not always about something sexual. Sex is very important in a marriage, but there are other things that we can help people do mentally to help them relax. Pick your partner's brain. Ask them, how can I help you relax? What things do you like to do to relax? Because we always should be in a space where we're introducing ourselves and reintroducing ourselves and learning about our spouse, right? Number one, two, three, four. Number five, mind your manners. Sometimes, do I really need to say that? Am I being respectful when I speak? If not, I might not need to say that. I might need to reconsider how I'm going to say it. But mind your manners. Just because they're your spouse and you've been married to them for 2 years, 20 years, 20 years, 25 years, 45 years, we still want to remain respectful to that individual because it's still someone's child and it's still a human, and they have feelings and emotions and things like that. So we want to make sure we're minding our manners, even to this day in our marriage. Number six, go above and beyond with chores. Hey, but I'm going to say this as well. If you need help with the chores, then we must express that we need help with chores. Sometimes we get mixed up and we think, oh, well, you should know I need help. But that's not necessarily true. We need to make sure we are able to verbalize needing the help. Hey, can you help me with this? And can you? shower the baby, or can you fix the plates, or can you fold the laundry? No one is a mind reader, not a woman nor a man is a mind reader when you need help. So communicating, all of these things have to be communicated, but making sure you're communicating the wants and the needs that you need from your spouse, and vice versa, right? If your spouse is asking you, "Hey, can you help me? Can um, 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 or if you see the need, meet the need, if that makes sense. You see the need, you meet the need. Sometimes you see them struggling with trying to fold clothes, trying to cook dinner, trying to do all of these things. If you see the need and you can help, be a helping hand, then help, right? So go be above and beyond. My husband always talks about being an apprentice. He said I would be a terrible apprentice because I'm like la 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 la, and you have to be attentive to the person that's actually doing the work. And so again, it's all about being attentive and paying attention to your spouse, right? Be mindful of body language. Be mindful of body language. Sometimes the body speaks before the mind ever says a word. And you need to know your partner's language, their body language. Are they folded? Are they like, ugh? What does that look like for you? Make sure you are mindful of their body language. You truly have to study your partner. You have to study them, and studying, be a lifelong um, student of your marriage. And the more we continue to stay in the mindset of learning, we will always be growing in the marriage. The moment we feel like we've learned it all, I know him, I know her, whatever, we cut off the learning part of marriage, and then that's when sometimes we get into a little trouble. Always be mindful of your spouse's body language. Also be mindful of your own. And my favorite one is give time off. Everybody needs a break, even from your marriage. Yes, you do. Yes, you do need time to just be yourself, get with yourself for a few minutes. And that doesn't mean you have to fly to the Dominican Republic, but you can take a walk by yourself, go out in the backyard, go out in the front yard, take a bath, do something to give time off for each spouse. Everybody needs time off. My husband likes to take naps. I'm not big on that, and I'm learning to let him take a nap. Naps are just like, I'm like, why are you taking all these naps? But give people time off. Just like you need time off from your job. I hope you take vacations and things like that. You need a time off from all the hustle and bustle of being married. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying go sleep in separate rooms. I'm just saying, you know what? Hey, I'm going to go get this manicure. I'm going to go get this pedicure. I'm going to go and just debrief and be within myself for a few minutes. And he may go and, you know, go hang out with the guys or do something like that. But then you come back together. Everybody needs time off. Do not underestimate time off. Do not think that, oh, I have to just be with my spouse all the time, and if I'm not a good husband or a good wife. Yeah, sure, everybody needs time. I mean, come on. Now, moving on to clean fighting. Uh, Arguments happen. If you're in a marriage and you do not argue, that is amazing. I'm happy for you. But a lot of us do have some disagreements. They're heated disagreements, if you will. So what these will do is just give you a setup for some rules that, you know what, you might not be able to apply all these. Pick one or two, discuss it with your spouse, and then see if you all can implement these things. It's not going to be 100%, but if you keep practicing at it and you keep working on it, you can get almost 90-80% of making these heated arguments digress. That's what we want. Not saying we're not going to have them, but we just need some foundation and some rules that help us get through whatever this disagreement is. So, number one, if you're ready, these are the marriage tip clean fighting tips, right? Number one, before you begin, ask yourself why you feel upset. Because a lot of times arguments happen because we have an internal conflict with ourselves about something that might not have even been communicated with our spouse. Or what we do is we bring in stuff 3 months ago into something today, and it can blow up. So before you begin, ask yourself, why do I feel upset? And usually, if you realize, oh, you know what, I haven't even communicated with him or her what's going on, guess what happens? That will just fuse the whole argument. Just start with yourself. You have to start with yourself. Why do I feel upset? You hear the children? You hear? Why do I feel upset? Because a lot of times we can solve these issues before the argument even gets started, just by asking that very simple question. Why do I feel upset? Number two, discuss one topic at a time. And we're not talking about what happened 3 months ago, because that should have been discussed 3 months ago. We got to stop doing that, people. We have to stop bringing in stuff that happened 3 months ago when we should have discussed it 3 months ago. Keep it current. And then what you can do is, if you want to say, okay, we're going to have a powwow about an argument that we should have had 3 months ago. I don't see the purpose of that. Keep it current. Let's stay present day. What are we fussing about today? If you didn't talk about it 3 months ago, you need to go talk that out in your journal, because you should have discussed it then. Don't bring in that stuff, because that's not fair. Discuss one thing at a time. Keep it focused. Number three, no degrading language. Okay, we're not going to name call. I know that's easy to do. I know it's sometimes cool and we can belittle each other, and who can come up with the most creative name. No, that is not clean. Let's keep it clean. Let's keep it clean. I'm not gonna call you out of your name. You're not gonna call me out of my name, and we're gonna try to keep this thing very clean and very respectful. Number four, express your feelings with words. A great tip that I used to do. This is personal. My husband will verify it. I used to have to write down because I was not a very good communicator. I didn't know how to communicate my feelings, and that's true. Even as a therapist, it's hard sometimes to get these words. So what I did was I would write things down, and then I would hand it to him, and he would read it, and he would respond, and he would write it back. Right? It sounds very elementary, but whatever works, whatever gets you there, don't minimize how you got there. Just respect that I'm communicating, I'm learning how to do it, but I'm going to do it in words. I'm not going to break stuff. I'm not going to bust windows out cars. I'm not going to, not cook. I'm not going to just withhold sex. I'm not going to do all of that. I'm going to say what I need to say. Remember the song? Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. I remember a lot of songs. Take turns speaking, even if you have to have something in hand. Okay, and who's ever holding it, your turn, or you got a 5 minute rule. Okay, we got 5 minutes, go. You got 5 minutes to say what you need to say. I got 5 minutes to say what I need to say, but we're going to take turns. That is what we call conversation. That's what we call communication. That is an exchange of information. So now when we're exchanging information, we can come to some form of settlement to where we both can agree that this is how we're going to diffuse the situation and we're going to move forward, right? No stonewalling. Don't beat around the bush. Well, I feel, well, well. Well, no, he don't know. She don't know. Nobody knows. No stonewalling. Say what you need to say. Even if you have to write it down. And sometimes people will do, they'll be in the same room. But make sure when you're doing that phone conversation ceases at some point, and then you move into a verbal conversation. We always want to try to make it verbal. No yelling. If you feel like you're going to start yelling, you need to take a timeout. No yelling. We're not, you shouldn't be yelling at, why are we yelling at each other? Yelling gets us nowhere. That means nobody's listening when we're yelling. Lastly, attempt to come to a settlement or an understanding. Attempt. Try to. And I don't like to use the word try a lot. I think you're doing it or you're not. So we're going to attempt to come to a settlement or an understanding. This is how you feel about it. This is how I feel about it. These are the facts. But we're going to base our settlement and our understanding off of the facts, not of the feeling. Feelings are not facts. They are emotions. We need them. They are important. But when it comes to understanding and agreement and settling on something, they can't hold the majority of the weight. They just cannot do it. They have to stay where they belong, but we have to use our logic to come up with a settlement where we both can understand and agree when it comes to a clean fight in a marriage. That is all I have. If you have any questions, any comments, you can leave them here. If you have any tips, if you have any clean fighting rules that you want to share, I love to see them. Add them to my list. Again, this is not exhaustive. Make sure you share this. Make sure you like it. Whatever you need to do, I appreciate it. I got 5 minutes left because I only do about 30 minutes, so I have 5 minutes left. If there are any questions, let me know. I will put up these tips probably tomorrow. I'll probably put them up just in case you need them, but I hope you wrote them down and you share. All right. Next week, not next week, the following week, which will be, is it the 28th? Oh, yes, throw a friend cap on. Yes, I think that's a good one. That's awesome. You and that's another thing. If you got something that's working for you, great, but you share it so people know, hey, so Nalia says they have a friend cap. So they may do it prior to them starting the conversation, friend cap on, so they know where they are. And I think that's an awesome thing to do because now you're setting the rule. But even within your friend cap, even within your friend cap, make sure you're incorporating some of these. Because now within the friend cap, we ain't gonna do this. We're not gonna degrade each other. We're not gonna belittle each other. We're going to no yelling, da da da. And so now you're setting up an order of how you plan to keep it clean. At the end of the night, we're gonna make up and we gonna go to bed. We're gonna hug. We're gonna kiss. We're gonna do whatever we need to do because we're not gonna go to bed mad. That might be another rule. No matter millennial marriage goals, you know. Yes, we're not going to 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 go to bed upset, and I hope we don't, um, because if anything is to happen, you don't want the last thing you said was something derogatory or mean or nasty, or you were upset about something that really had nothing to do with your spouse. I hope you found these helpful. Again, I will post these tomorrow. If you catch this now, you catch this later. I'm grateful that you catch it at all. Y'all have an amazing week. Please continue to thrive, enlighten yourself, engage. Marriage is work. We have to do the work. It is intended for us to work. We are always trying to elevate our marriage one step at a time. But in order to do that, we have to first evaluate and elevate ourselves individually, and then collectively we come together, and that is what you see. You see it is forever an evolving thing, and it is beautiful to do two imperfect people coming together to form. And this is the only time I'm gonna get a little Bible on you. I think that's what God sees when and it makes God smile when two imperfect people can come together and learn how to get along um, for the betterment of their family, for their community, and for this universe. And I think God honors that, and and knowing that you're sacrificing individualism, which is hard for all of us to do for the common good of the progression of the world. That is marriage to me. All right. My nose is itching. Somebody's breaking something in the garage. And next week, not next week, the following week, the 28th. Is that right? What's today? Heck no. On the 3rd, right? maybe the fourth. I think it's the fourth. We're going to talk about parenting. What about parenting? I get a lot of questions about how I parent 6 children, and um, and I want to share what I know and what I've studied, and we're gonna bring it together. If you have any tips and tools that you want to share, I'd be love to hear those from you. If you have any topics that you want me to discuss, you can leave those in the comment box below. Make sure you share. Make sure you love, live, and laugh, and be yourself. Study yourself, and love your spouse. And I will see you guys on the next go round.